Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Saskia and I create image and wardrobe styling videos. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the winter capsule wardrobe must-haves, simply things that just won't go out of style. Now, I recently curated my winter capsule wardrobe and I'll share the link with you right above here just in case you missed it. And today we're just going to be kind of diving a bit deeper just to determine what you absolutely need. In no particular order, we're going to be talking about scarves first. So if you're living anywhere like it is in New York where it's kind of getting cold really quickly, scarves are going to be really essential to keeping you warm, especially if you have to commute to go to work still, or even just running groceries, or if you have to just go out and take out the trash. You might want to throw on a scarf. And the nice thing about scarves is that they can really add a beautiful element to your wardrobe. So the scarf that I have on hand that I absolutely love wearing during the season is my Burberry scarf. And I do plan on incorporating another scarf, which is on my wish list. And once that's done being put together, I'll be sure to share it with you. Scarves can add such fluidity and another additional layer to your look. It's beautiful because a lot of times people think that, your scarves, you have to take it off wherever you go. You can keep your scarf on and you can really style it in a way that's really going to showcase the beauty of the piece. And even if you plan on keeping your outerwear on, you can still style your scarf in a way that it can still showcase its beauty and add additional dimension to your look. The next thing is pea coats. A long pea coat, something that's going to keep you warm from head to toe and really add a little bit of elevation to your look. I recommend getting a pea coat that's a caramel color. I think that is just such a classic color, but if you're not interested in adding that kind of warmth or a tonal color that way, go for something that's maybe a pattern, like a houndstooth, or something that maybe be less like a chevron, something that has a bit more of a timeless pattern so that it can last you throughout the years. But a pea coat is definitely clutch for this season and for more winters to come. Leather gloves. I absolutely adore my leather gloves. They keep me warm, they keep me stylish, and they're just so easy to store. They're not too bulky and they're just so elegant. I really love the idea of having an elongated hand and something that really kind of complements my entire vibe, and leather gloves do that for me. I particularly gravitate towards either brown or black gloves. This season I have black, and I probably will have it for quite some time. And right now I don't feel like it's necessary for me to have a brown pair, but if you wanted to have a bit of versatility, I would invest in a black and a brown pair. Ooh, maybe even burgundy, like a deep, rich burgundy. That's a thought. Okay, now hats. Let's talk about hats. For us natural hair girls, I don't know about you, but hats sometimes can be quite difficult because the second you put it on, it ruins your entire hairstyle. And sometimes, like with our puffs, and especially when we have it in our natural texture, sometimes it can be really hard to style the hat, especially if we plan on taking it off. So these are a couple of hats that I would recommend. I love berets. Berets are so beautiful. They're classic, they're timeless, and they're so Parisian. And when you're wearing them, I recommend styling your hair in a manner where you could see a little bit of detail in the front but tuck everything else in the back. I prefer to have my hair either blown out and braided or just simply braided underneath so that it's a bit more, the hat can really stand on its own in terms of the way that it folds on itself, as opposed to my hair and all of my hair pushing at the back of the beret, not allowing it to fold nicely in the front. And so that's the first hat I would recommend. The second one I would recommend is a beanie. If you're opposed to wearing hats, possibly consider using earmuffs, something that's going to keep your ears warm, because those are one of the first things to go cold, and it's really uncomfortable when your ears are cold. And I would just say that I know that hats sometimes can be quite intimidating, but try to explore and try different kinds of hats. Stick to the timeless pieces, maybe something like a conductor's hat or a fedora, or even try considering a newsboy hat. I know that's generally a more masculine type of hat, but I really think that they look so super cute on women when they wear and style their hair nicely underneath. So take into consideration hats, kind of explore a little bit, and really stick to those timeless classic ones so that it can last you a long time. Okay, I won't beat this dead horse too much, but black boots. black heeled boots. I made an entire video about what kind of boots you need for the season, so I'll also link that above just so that you have access to it. But I think that black boots are so essential to this season. They really pull a look together. They add a little bit of functionality and style to your looks. So if you're interested in knowing about different kinds of black boots, I'm going to leave the video up above like I said before. My favorite black boots are the Jimmy Choo combat boots. They are the cruise boot. I think they're still available. They also come with some embellishment if you want that version. I opted not to get the one with embellishment just because I knew like it wasn't really what I was going for the combat boots. So I love the boots. Like, all you need to do is wipe them down a little bit after you've walked in them for the day. And when I tell you, like, I use those boots, there's no, like, those are not like my best boots. Those are my everyday, I'm styling myself boots. They're just so supportive when it comes to adding that element of like hardness and like punk to your looks without being too hard, which I absolutely love. The juxtaposition of it is just phenomenal. A heel with a combat, right up my alley. Now we can't forget about silk underlays. I used to think that these were so lame when I was younger. My mom would always tell us that we needed to protect our joints and protect our knees. If you have a Caribbean mom, let me know down below. Mine is particularly Haitian, and she would always tell us that we needed to protect our joints and that, you know, we'll feel it when we're older. And my goodness, was she right. I'm glad that like I still listened to her. I still thought it was super lame, but literally silk underlays and thermos, wow, they make such a huge difference, especially when it comes to styling pieces that you wouldn't necessarily keep you warm. All you need to do is add that underlay that's very thin but also has like great heating technology. That's going to make a huge difference. So if you don't already have it, get it in your wardrobe. If you're a young individual and you haven't started using like underlays in the winter, start now. And if you're older and you haven't done it, and you're suffering with your joints, start now. Obviously, chunky knits are on the list. If you haven't seen my wardrobe for this season, there are so many chunky knits. Like, I know that you don't need as many, but I really do like rotating through and just being able to wear them on rotation. I love my chunky knits and I'm very particular about them. If you haven't invested in some good ones, I would recommend Mango. They have such good pieces. Like, I'm obsessed with Mango this year. Absolutely obsessed. I don't know why I never found them before, but I love them, and they really make some really good quality pieces that I would definitely recommend. And on the contrary of chunky knits, we have light knits. Light knits are super essential as well, especially when it comes to layering underneath our coats. If you don't have a coat that's going to sustain a chunky knit, you need some light knits to put underneath it. So if you're layering with your outerwear, or if you're layering for just like pieces in general, we need some light knits. For instance, this blazer that I'm wearing right now, it would really do well with a light knit underneath. If I didn't want to wear an overcoat and I just wanted to throw on a light knit, a hat, some my combat boots of course, and just be out the door with, I would be super warm, maybe even wear a pair of gloves if I really needed it, and just like be on my way, throw on a scarf, good to go. And a light knit would absolutely pair so well with the tighter and form-fitting pieces that require it. And speaking of this blazer, heavier blazers, something that has a little bit more material, that has a thicker material and is really going to keep you warm. I like to compare this to having thicker trousers for the winter time, especially in New York. I feel like you cannot wear the same trousers throughout the entire year unless they're specifically made for that. In the winter and maybe towards the end of the fall as well, we need heavier materials that are going to keep us warm, and I think the same thing applies to the blazers. I wouldn't wear this blazer in the summertime or in the springtime just because of the nature of its fabric, but for the fall and the winter, end of fall and winter, absolutely a must. Like, I love wearing blazers because they're so structured, but sometimes they don't keep you warm, especially in the office. My goodness, when they pump the AC, I'm like freezing all the time. And so having a heavier blazer is really gonna help keep you toasty. Tights. Let's talk about tights. I love the Gucci tights that came out last year. I absolutely love the Chanel tights that are coming out. That is definitely on my wish list, so you keep your eyes open for that. But when it comes to tights, I think that is also a layering piece. There's a common trend with this winter. There's a common trend with the winter must-haves. It's layering. Layering is essential to a season like this, and having tights for those shorter skirts or for those shorter dresses, or even just for anything you can wear under, like tights underneath. Tights are going to be so essential, and they really don't go out of style. I've been wearing tights since I was a little girl, and in each stage of my life I've transitioned what kind of tights I incorporate. So when I was really young, I would wear like pink ballet tights or like white tights for communion or confirmation, and then when I got into high school, I was wearing like sheer tights that were like skin tone, and thicker tights in the winter time that were also skin tone. And then when I got to college, I was still playing around with tights. I didn't really have to wear them as much, but when I would wear, this was like the stage where you were trying to grow into like your womanhood, and so I would have like some tights that have a little bit of design. In this stage of womanhood, I've really kind of invested in tights that are gonna last a long time. I really hate tights that run and having to change them and having another pair just in case they rip in the middle of the day. I don't want to do that. So I've really been very cautious and considerate about picking tights that are gonna last throughout the entire season and bring you into the next year as well. So that's why I love my Gucci tights. They're so cute. They add a little bit of an element of surprise, and they're just so luxe. And so I'm kind of like in that direction when it comes to the tights, and I don't see them going out of style ever, like ever. And even if they do, they're not going to go out of style for me, I can tell you that much. And last but not least, blankets. I know. What are you talking about? Okay, blankets are not only for sitting on the couch. Blankets are not only for going to football games. Like, blankets are so essential when it comes to this season. I am cold all the time, so I wouldn't be my authentic self not telling you that blankets are super essential and timeless for this season. I have a blanket everywhere I go, and if it's not an actual blanket, it's like a shawl that can serve as a blanket. I take those on my trips on the plane. I take those on my trips in the car. Anywhere I'm going, I have a blanket with me, especially in this season. There isn't a reason why I wouldn't have a blanket. Like, if I could, I would literally leave a blanket at every location that I go to often. My eyes on the Hermes blanket. I cannot wait to have that thing. It's gonna serve me so well, and I'm gonna be luxing it, and it's gonna be fabulous. So as you can see, there are a couple of things that I think I'm missing in my wardrobe, and I'll put together a wish list just to share that with you. And yeah, that pretty much completes this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I always love hearing from you. So what is a must-have for you when it comes to your winter wardrobe? I'd love to know. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do so. I know some of you guys like tiptoe and like try to decide, then you binge a little bit, and then you decide to subscribe. But go ahead, take the leap of faith. Promise you, this is a place to be. You'll really enjoy your time here. I'll make sure of it. I love to connect with you on a daily basis, so find me over on Instagram. I'll leave the link down below. And if you really want to solidify our friendship, you can subscribe to my blog newsletter. I hope to see you in the next video. Share this with whomever you think would love it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!